So the ending to WrestleMania Night 1 that was odd, that was confusing, full of something, wasn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. My name is Matt. Good to have you. Good to see you. We are going to go through the main event and a few other little talking points about WrestleMania Night 1. This is not a full review. I really want to just give you my overall thoughts of the main event, and then tomorrow I will actually have the full in-depth review of Night 1. But I want to just highlight a few things for you before we just get right into this main event. Number one, I thought WrestleMania Night 1 was a commercial. I thought there was some good moments. There were some highlights in there, but I couldn't help but feel like there's this overwhelming sense that this was very middle of the road. Matches were short, real short. I think WrestleOps had a tweet that went out and they said it was like there were 8-minute, 7-minute, 10-minute matches. I think Gunther was something like 14. This lacked so much for a WrestleMania Night 1 in terms of giving the matches time to breathe, to allow things to happen. It was not okay. The amount of Hulk Hogan commercials, everybody, oh my goodness. Okay, so having said that, let's get into the main event and talk about this confusing just smorgasbord of events that occurred. Pat gets his own entrance. Cody, Randy get their entrance. The crowd throughout all of this obviously is very, very behind Randy Orton. And they, as the match went on and as more things happened, they were less into Cody Rhodes with all of this. Pat does the introductions for Randy Orton, then Cody does his thing, and then Pat ends up attacking Cody before the bell rings, which I think was a smart move, and I think that worked really well, because they were trying to seemingly get this out of the way and give everyone the bulk of the match. So I did appreciate that. Going into this too, there were reports, and then commentary even talked about it, that Randy Orton is dealing with an injury, supposedly a back injury. So they played into that, they leaned into that for this whole match, and I'm kind of wondering, based on the outcome, did that factor into the decisions made for this entire main event? So Cody gives Pat a crossroads right away. Cody takes Pat onto the announcer's table, takes him outside, and then Quantum Leap Jelly Roll appears out of nowhere, just nowhere, and he goes and does a diving elbow from one table to the other and takes out Pat. This was great, only in that it was going to eliminate these guys. The rumor was going around that there's going to be a tag team match at Backlash. I do wonder, is that actually going to happen or not? And yeah, we got Pat McAfee stretchered out eventually. This part took way too long for me. Like, Randy had just rolled out of the ring, was standing there for, felt like a good 5 minutes straight, and Cody looking on. They just waited and waited and waited. They stretchered Pat out. He's gone. Jelly Roll leaves too. And then we get the match. And this was very much a Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton slow burn match. Very much a Randy Orton match. Slow, slow, slow. And again, could be that way because that's just the way they wanted to build it. It could be because it's due to injury. And I understand that. It just wasn't really for me for the pacing of it. However, I will say, as the match went on and the match got goofier and sillier, I guess I was kind of into it. It was just a pure curiosity for this main event for me. That's what it was. And maybe you liked it, and that's okay too. Maybe you hated it, and that's fine too. I'm kind of like in the middle of just like silliness and just how really flipped this whole main event felt in terms of the roles and how the crowd reacted and shifted and involvement of everybody. So this match also didn't have a lot of sense built into it for me because Randy Orton gets bloody, and that was a cool visual. But as Randy Orton has the blood and things are progressing, you're getting more sympathy, it seemed like, on Randy Orton in this thing. Because the crowd is obviously, they're firmly behind Randy, and they were booing Cody more and more as this thing went on. And Cody's taking advantage. But because they got the blood and the way like Randy would do facial expressions and react, it was almost giving him, you would think he's the babyface. So as it was continuing on, you'd have Cody then like flipping his ear to listen to the crowd, like he's acknowledging that he hears everybody, that everything that he was doing, he was getting booed, and Randy was getting cheered. Then you had Cody, he did a draping DDT, Randy's move, he did it to Randy Orton, that got booed. Randy hits a crossroads to Cody, and that got cheered. Cody hits an RKO. There were a lot of RKOs. How many were there? I lost count after 5. So there's an RKO by Orton, and the crowd goes absolutely insane for it. They also did the yeah and boos back and forth, and during that whole sequence, I'm highlighting that because they were booing Cody every single time, and they were cheering Randy. And Cody's doing thumb to the eye. So here's the thing. You have Cody throughout all of this, after like the blood hit, and Cody, doing thumb to the eye, and doing a few more, I guess, heelish things throughout. I understand within the story, at least, or at least my interpretation is Cody's doing that because that's him doing what everyone's telling him to do. Get more aggressive, get to Randy's level, push the envelope, go to the edge, go to the extreme. And him saying in his promo on SmackDown, whatever it was, like 2 weeks ago, I don't know if I can do that. I appreciate that it seemed like they were trying to do that in this match, that Cody is just, he's going to any lengths he can to keep the belt. So if that's the, interpretation I'm supposed to have, then that worked. Because I got that. I was like, okay, they're doing a lot more heel things, like thumb to the eye. Like, come on. Like, Cody's trying to just almost cheat to win. He's just trying to do anything to beat Randy. So I liked that part. But it didn't work totally for me because you had so much, it felt like just so much sympathy on Randy. So after the thumb to the eye, Randy hits an RKO to Little Nate. So the referee gets RKO'd and he's taken out of there. And I thought, okay, we got a big moment coming here. Cody hits a low blow to Randy. And then, the cutter into the RKO, which was a cool sequence. And again, it goes back to Cody being desperate. So I appreciated that. It leans into just how the fans were receiving him. And also, I think with that, him knowing going into this thing that he's probably going to get booed. Like, Cody can read a crowd. So I think they were just like, let's just roll with that. Like, let's just roll with the reaction, what we're getting. But then you have Pat McAfee, and he comes sprinting down, and this is the goofiest thing ever. Pat has the neck brace on and a referee shirt, and he's running full tilt, and he's perfectly fine after taking that elbow. So not only did none of it affect him, and he didn't sell any of it as he's coming down to the ramp full speed. I think it's a hilarious visual. When anyone's got the neck brace, it's always comedy. So it went from like this serious angle that's going on in the ring with the blood and everything to goofy Pat McAfee with a neck brace running down to try and get involved with a referee shirt that he would have found somewhere backstage, throws it on, runs in, 1, 2, kick out. Why didn't Pat just do a quick Shane McMahon count 1, 2, 3 and give Randy the win? I don't know. He went with a standard referee count, which didn't make any sense for Pat McAfee, but still, they got to 2. There was a kick out. Randy then hits Pat with an RKO, so we appreciate that. This makes me feel like they're not doing this whole backlash match. Like, this whole thing is off. Cody then hits the crossroads to Orton, and Cody retains. They didn't go with Randy as champion. So you've had Cody take out Pat come in to try and save everything, Randy getting rid of Pat McAfee, so that's over with. Jelly Roll didn't even come back out. So by Pat's statement that he made before, that if Randy doesn't win, he will leave the business, he'll never show up ever again. So is WWE and TKO, are they going to actually do that? Are they going to follow with what they were saying and spouting on TV like twice, where he won't show up ever again? I kind of wonder if that is the plan here. If this injury with Randy is legitimate, and it seems to be because they're talking about it endlessly, and it was all the chatter right before WrestleMania. If Randy, they didn't put the belt on Randy because he was injured, or this was the plan all along, right? That's usually what we get told, is like, oh, did you like the show? No, but that seems to be the plan. Then okay, what are you going to do now? Did they pivot because Randy has a legitimate injury and they can't do any of these plans and they're going to write him off? And Cody's got the belt again. Things didn't end though, because they're going to get a little bit more, I guess, confusing. So Cody holds up the belt at the very end and he's getting booed by everybody. Orton then grabs the belt off of Cody, hits him with it, hits a punt kick to Cody as well. And Randy just stands tall in the middle of the ring to end WrestleMania Night 1. And the crowd is kind of confused. So they've gotten rid of Pat, seemingly. That relationship and story arc, maybe that's over with and they're just not going to continue it anymore. Randy's still bad guy, but again, is he going to be written off with the injury? If he was going to be injured, like written off as a full injury, wouldn't they want Randy to not really stand tall at the end of WrestleMania? I don't know. Maybe they will continue stuff. Maybe they will do something in Backlash. Maybe they will just do the Backlash tag team match because they'll say, oh, we got on the right page and we're just going to do it anyways. Cody is interesting in all of this. Again, I'm going to go back and say because he was seemingly very much a heel. And I don't say like he had a heel turn, but by any means, no, he did not turn heel. Cody's actions in the match were desperate. Again, I go back to the earlier point. This falls in line with Cody's statement, Stephanie McMahon everyone telling him that he needs to go and push the envelope. So he did, and he got booed for it. Cody retains. The problem I think they got now is like they're just kind of in a hard place. They're going to have Cody come out on Raw or SmackDown, and the guy's going to probably get booed. Like the ending with Randy standing tall after he punt kicked him, the crowd cheers for it. So now you're going to have Cody come out and say, I defied the odds and I beat Randy. You didn't stand tall. You were broken and defeated in the ring. So I don't think it gave any sympathy to Cody. no one's feeling bad for Cody. I think everyone's just feeling confused by everything. And I think it goes along with the overall feeling I had for night one, which was this is very middle of the road. This dragged because of ads and commercials. None of the matches I felt like got to the next gear. Some standout stuff there was. There's some positives in there, and we'll talk about that in the full review breakdown. But this main event, I was seriously just curious what they were going to do. They actually went with one of my ideas. Just not that they went with my idea, but they did one of the things I thought they might do, which was get the Pat Jelly stuff out of the way in the beginning, and they kind of did that. But then you got a really slow, long match. I'd love to know what you think. Like, please comment below, guys. What did you think of the main event? Did you find it like, oh, it totally worked and it played into everything? Did you feel like they had to pivot and change course with everything? Because I am curious what they will do on Raw, what they'll do next week on SmackDown. Are they going to do this tag team match? Are they going to go in a totally new direction? And the thing is, though, is that if Randy is actually injured and he's off TV now for a couple of weeks or months, sure, they can go back to this. They could revisit this all at like SummerSlam. Maybe they're going to give Randy the belt there. Who knows? But until then, you got Cody on TV. What's he going to do? Like, what's his character going to do? Because he's going to talk about how he had to do the low blows and thumb to the eyes and all this dastardly stuff to retain. The crowd isn't going to cheer him. Are they going to actually evolve Cody's character into more? That's something I would be excited to see. I don't want to see just plain old Cody Rhodes walk out on SmackDown smiling and slapping hands with kids and everything and being happy to be here. There needs to be more that's come out of all of this. The Pat stuff was goofy, like with the neck brace and everything. It was goofy. I'm glad they got rid of it to let the match breathe and he wasn't a distraction throughout all of it. But man, this felt like such a flip of roles where Randy just felt like the good guy. Because I'm looking at crowd reaction and I'm looking at what Randy is doing and I'm looking at what Cody is doing. And roles were all over the place. So did it land as a main event for night one? I think there's intrigue in terms of, well, people will be talking about it. And I don't know if they're going to be talking favorably about it. I think Randy should have won. If there was no injury, that's the big question mark, is that is Randy actually injured legit and has to go away? And they didn't put the belt on him. Yet Cody retains, so Cody's still champion. Who's he going to fight next? Is he going to get a one-on-one with Pat at Backlash? Like, are they just going to do that? I don't know. But you had a chance to give Randy the title. And I still think that putting the belt on a heel champion is the way to go. If Randy's going to be out for months, then so be it. You can't put the belt on him. But I think it still would have been cool that even if he's going to be out for a couple of weeks, have him just show up with the championship. That would have been a really cool thing. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I didn't love it. And I thought overall WrestleMania was lacking something, some interest, and man, the amount of commercials and advertising. That Hulk Hogan ad ran way too much for me, brother. So I'll just give you my thoughts, reaction to night one. Stay tuned because WrestleMania night one review will be coming at you really, really soon. Thank you for watching. If you guys enjoy videos like this, help us out. We're trying to hit 100,000 subs, so I'd love your support. If you hit subscribe, it does mean a lot, goes a long way, but I'm glad you're here hanging out for WrestleMania. Comment below your thoughts on WrestleMania. Have a great day. See ya.